I have a little story to tell you. You guys want to hear a really amazing story that happened? Okay, so in the last 5 days, this is such an amazing story. I've been wanting to tell you guys this, but I just haven't been able to get on. This happened to us. It ended up happening to us, and our whole family was really kind of focused on this little event that took place over the last 5 days. And what ended up happening, and I didn't tell you guys about this when I was on because I was hoping that it would resolve itself, that something would happen where the cat, what happened was we have a cat, we have one of our cats, and this cat kind of symbolic representative of, the Pearl. We call her Pearl because she's a white cat, very beautiful coat. She's pretty friendly, but she's a little bit standoffish, a little bit. She wasn't when she was a little kid. She still is a kitten. I think she still is considered a young cat. I would say maybe transitioning into adulthood, but she's still kind of a mid-range, I would say a big kitten. But she still hangs out with her mom. Now, her mom has another litter of kittens, and she'll sleep with the kittens. She sleeps with mom. She sleeps with the kittens. It's really funny. But we had another cat that was the sibling. I'll try to get this straight. We had a cat that was a sibling of the cat that had the litter, right? Well, the cat that had the litter just now, or not too long ago, she didn't want her sibling around, so she ran her off. So the sibling tried to come back, but she wouldn't let her stay around. But she let her previous kitten, that was her kitten, stay, right? And that kitten is now big, right? That's the one we call Pearl. And she lets her come in and sleep with the kittens, and she'll sleep with mom. She's a big kitty. She's like the big kitty. And all the little kittens, there's like 5 little kittens in there, and they're all sleeping together, right? And so what ended up happening was my dog got out. Remember I told you my dog keeps getting out? Well, he scared Pearl, which is the kitten, the bigger kitten. And I would say it's not a kitten. I think it's getting to a place where it's almost an adult. But this cat was so scared that it ran up a tree. We got these big, tall pine trees. I mean, these are trees that go really high. I mean, like 80, 100 feet. I mean, I think at least 50 to 80 feet, I would say. This cat ran up this tree, and at the time we kept hearing the cat meowing. This was about 5 days ago. The cat was meowing up there, and I kept hearing this cat meow, and I was like, where's this cat coming from? Where's this meow coming from? I was looking all over. I couldn't find it, but then I realized that it was coming from the tree, so I look up, and I see the cat up there, and it's probably about 20 feet, 15, 20 feet up. We tried to coax it down. It wouldn't come down. And then it started to go higher. It went up another 20 or 30 feet. It was about 50 feet up. I mean, it was way, way up there. All right. We could barely see it. It was that high up. And you're talking trees that are like 100 feet, but she probably went up, I think it was about 50 feet, maybe 40 to 50 feet. There is no way I was going to climb up there. No way I could even get to the first branches, because the first branches were like, 15 feet up. And the tree is, tree is about like this big around at the bottom. Pretty big tree. They're like pole pines. I don't know if they're like pole pines, if you call them pole pines. I don't know if they're pole pines, but they're a certain type of pine that's really tall. And, the wind blows and they just kind of sway. They're just like huge. Anyways, so this cat's up there. We're thinking, okay, it's going to come down. I call someone to help. They said, oh, the cat will come down. 100% it'll come down. And for some reason, I got a hold of a friend of one of the guys that I was calling was a police officer, and he handed him the phone. And the police officer told me, oh, yeah, just shoot it in the butt or something, and it'll fall. And I'm thinking, shoot it? I never heard anybody say that. And then he's like, oh, no. He goes, well, just 100% chance. These cats, they got instinct. They'll come down. So first he tells me to shoot it, and I'm thinking, you mean with like a pellet gun? And it's like, yeah, just shoot it in the butt. It'll then it'll like fall. It'll decide to come down, or it'll fall. Because we kept thinking we have to make it, after the second, third day, The cat's been up there 3 days, and it hasn't had any water, hasn't had any food. We're thinking it's going to die. The weather is really cold. We got down to freezing. It's been below freezing, probably in the 20, 25, 30 degree range. And then it rained, and then it snowed, and it snowed the other day, right? So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this cat's been up there now 4 days. This is going on 4 days. And so the cop tells me, yeah, so I tried calling an arborist. I tried calling tree people. One guy said, oh, yeah, I can make it out there tomorrow. That was yesterday. I can make it out there tomorrow. And this was going on day 5. Okay, so the cat's been up there for 4 days. And now we have wind and cold, like 25 degrees. The cat's way up there. There's no protection for it. You know, it's going to be complete. So anyway, what happened was the cat was meowing continually for 3 days straight. Anytime we go out there, she meowed really loud. Now she wasn't meowing. Now she was I thought she was dead a couple times. I could see her up on a branch, just up there looking. I got my binoculars and I'm looking at her. And she's like looking like she's almost dead, you know, like she's just laying there. And they say there's never been a skeleton. Have you ever seen a skeleton in a cat skeleton in a tree? People always make that joke. Like cats never die in the tree. Like, yeah, they do. they don't come down and they die. And so I'm thinking, okay, the cat is perched on this branch and it's just dying. It's laying there. And it finally came out, like, because it was always in the inside of the tree and you could see its head. And we would go out there at day and in the middle of the night and sometimes really dark, and we could see the eyes up there. And she's just like meowing. Now she stopped meowing. Now she wasn't meowing at all. Now she was like laying on this branch, not moving. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's dying, right? It's so cold. It just rained. She was probably soaking wet. Plus it's cold. She's got hypothermia. I don't know. I'm thinking the cat's going to die. So on the 5th day, going on the 5th day, I had called this was yesterday. They said, oh, we'll be out there tomorrow morning. We can help you. It'll just take a donation. We'll help you out. And we're not going to charge you. We'll just climb up. We've had cats that just keep climbing all the way to the top. When we get up there, they just keep going all the way up. And we can't go up. They told me they can't go up past 4 inches diameter of the tree, or it's a hazard. So they cut the top of the tree off and they try to pull it down in case the cat will. They've had cats fall from 100 feet, after they've tried to rescue them, and they still survive sometimes. But if they keep hitting the branches on the way down, and maybe that'll kind of slow their fall down. But you're talking 100 feet up. You could be 100 feet up. But this cat was about 50. So we're thinking, okay, I don't think she's going to survive till tomorrow, because tonight it's going to be down at 23, 25 degrees, right? She's already not even meowing. She's barely moving. Like, I'm looking at her with the binoculars. She looks like she's almost dead. And so we're all worried she's going to die. No water, no food. She might have gotten some water when it rained a little bit. She might have had a little bit of water, but I don't think she even got that much water because it kind of snowed, right? So we got desperate. So I was throwing these sticks as high as I could. I could barely even get these sticks. I mean, I was throwing it so hard. I think I threw out my arm trying to throw these sticks up to try to knock her off the branch. But I could barely even get up that high. And at one time I almost hit her, but it was so high up. I mean, I got these branches that were like this long, and I was just weaving them as high as I could, man. I mean, just seriously, I couldn't even get up that high. So then my wife is sitting there looking through the binoculars. She says, why don't you shoot the branch? Because she came out on a branch that was about this thick. It was about an inch in diameter. And she was out on the edge of this branch, and it had like a little platform of twigs, and she was laying on it, and that's when she wasn't moving, right? So we were just thinking maybe she's dying. And so she's just laying on this twigged out area, and she's just laying there, not moving, and her head's just laying down, like her head's like hanging off. She's not, and her eyes are closed. We're thinking she's probably sleeping is probably what it was. She's probably sleeping because she probably didn't get any sleep. So we're sitting there, and my wife's like, why don't you shoot it? And I'm like, that's a good idea. So I go in and I get my 22. I got a 22 with a nice scope on it. So it's very, I decided, okay, I'm going to test it I'm going to test the scope and see if I can shoot the target and see how close accurate it is. So I took a couple target shots to see if it was scoped in, and it was pretty right on, real accurate. And so that was only about a 15-foot shot. And then I took it and I looked up and I saw the branch, and I tried to scope it so that it was about this far away from the cat. I didn't want to hit the cat. So I hit the branch. I shot the first time, missed, and on the second shot, I hit the branch, and the branch totally, completely broke. I saw it just go, and the cat started to fall. Now, what happened was before I did that, I went and I got this big fish net. So it's a big, long pole with a big, huge net, right, for fishing. Like big fish. It's for a big fish. And I had this net sitting there. We were trying to use the net in case it would fall. We had the net out there for the last, 4 nights anyway. So the net was right there, and I pulled it and I set it aside. So as soon as I shot, the branch broke. The cat started to fall. It was like going all crazy. Like at that point, it woke up. Like, I don't know, that really woke up the cat. She started to fall, and she grabbed onto the second bay of branches that were under her about 10 or 15 feet. She fell into that, and she was holding on, trying to hold on. And by that time, I had enough time to get the net and run over to where she was falling. And I stuck the net up, and I saw her falling like at least 40 feet. And I caught the cat in the net. The cat, when it came into the net, it just barely missed the ground like this much. And I was holding it. We literally caught the cat out of the tree, shot the branch, the cat falls into the net. I catch it, doesn't hit the ground. And I'm looking at my wife like this. We're looking at each other like, I can't believe we just did that. And the cat was going crazy inside the net. So the cat was so terrified, and we just, closed the net and took it back. So the cat was completely horrified, terrified. It was going crazy. This is the craziest cat going crazy inside the net. She's petrified. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. So I take her and I put her inside of, finally calmed her down a little bit. We put her inside of a rabbit cage. She calmed down finally. We gave her some food. We gave her some water. This was yesterday afternoon. Okay, this happened yesterday afternoon. She ate and drank, and then she's been sleeping. She's been sleeping this whole time. She has barely, and she's purring really loud too, by the way. So she is so happy whenever we come near her and we pet her, she's just purring so loud. Like she's so happy that she's alive. She's like, thank you for saving my life. I'm the real cat daddy. I was thinking about cat daddy. He'd probably like that story if I told that guy cat daddy. Oh my God, Jeff, is it really that far down? Holy cow. So thank God that our cat was saved. And, the Lord kind of gave me a little message and all that anyway, because this cat symbolized something too. We call it Pearl because she's got the pearl of great price. That's why my wife posted yesterday about the pearl of great price. If you saw on the Telegram feed, she posted about the pearl of great price. That the cat kind of symbolized something to us. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. So then listen to this. Okay, so 2 days ago, my son, my youngest, no, he's not my youngest son. He's my second youngest son. He's 5 years old. He has a dream, because we were questioning about the whole cat thing. Like, I had given up on the cat. I thought the cat was just going to die. Literally, I was just like, it's going to die. She's going to die. She's ain't going to, I don't think we can do anything at this point. She's too far up there. We can't find anybody to get her. It's been 3 days. We were about to give up, right? So my wife, Carla, she prays for the kids to have a dream. Like the kids always have prophetic dreams. Like, we all have prophetic dreams, but the kids have prophetic dreams, like all our kids. And so she prays for the kids to have a dream, right? And the kids don't know about the cat. By the way, we didn't tell the kids. We didn't want them to be worried about the cat. It was in the backyard, and they weren't going out in the backyard. We didn't let them go out there. We'd like, don't go back in the backyard, just stay out in the front. So they were out and playing when it was sunny in the last week. They would go out in the front. But then it started getting cold in the last 2 or 3 days, so we had them kind of staying in. But they didn't know about the cat, right? So there's no way they knew about the cat. But my second youngest son had a dream. And in the dream, he saw Pearl. He saw the cat Pearl. They didn't know anything about the cat. So what happened is he sees the cat inside of our pantry. We have a pantry. And in the pantry, there's all this food. We got the food in there. And it's got shelves. And he says, and there's shelves on both sides when you walk in. And so he saw in the dream the cat, Pearl, was on the top shelf. And then the cat moved to the other shelf on the other side. And then he saw my daughter go and try to get up on a ladder to try to get the cat. And she ended up getting the cat, right? In the dream, she got the cat out of the blue. So then my wife and I were like, oh, that's got to be the Lord. The Lord is confirming, he's telling us that we're going to save the cat, because we were thinking the cat was going to die. We were pretty much giving up. Like, we had given up on the cat, like almost given up. Like, I had gotten to the point on the third day that I was thinking, that's it. This cat's going to die. Like, oh well. I kind of resigned myself. But when he had that dream, it kind of gave a little bit of like faith, right? Get a little bit of hope, a little bit of faith. Then we started thinking, we're still thinking every day, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get this cat? So for the next third day to the fourth day, I'm just racking my mind trying to figure out how to get this cat. I went out and I bought this big like super soaker nozzle thing, because somebody on the forum said if you just shoot it with water it'll come down, and I'm thinking, oh, that doesn't sound like it's going to work. But I tried it. So I went out and I got this soaker and I got a hose and I put it on this long pole. I taped it onto a long pole. And then I got up on this platform, which was like kind of near our, chicken coop, because the tree is right under the chicken coop. So I get up on this platform and I put the hose on the end of this long pole, and I stick up the pole as high as I can get it, and then turn on the faucet, and it shoots a big stream of water up there. And it got all the way up to where she was at, but it wasn't really strong. It was just kind of like barely hitting her. But that didn't work. So I tried everything. I'm telling you, I tried everything. I tried throwing sticks at her. I tried throwing rocks at her. I even tried with a pellet gun, trying to shoot her in the butt. I tried to do that, but I was afraid that I would hurt her, because the pellet gun was kind of a strong pellet gun. That didn't work. Nothing worked. And even we got my kids' arrow set, because they got like a bow and arrow set. Seriously, I got the bow and arrow set trying to shoot, and the bow and arrows wouldn't go up that high. So we couldn't even get her with the bow and arrow set. Now, this was just a kid bow and arrow set. It wasn't like a real bow and arrow. This was one, got the little stickers on the end, so that it'll stick to those kind of arrows, the ones that stick. That didn't work. So I tried everything, and that's why I had given up. My wife was sad. I was sad. The kids didn't know. They had the dream, and then we told them. Then we told them about the cat. After they had the dream, we told them about the cat, and that was on the fourth day or the third day. And then going into the fourth day, that's when I made the decision, and my wife told me, just shoot the branch. And I was like, okay. And I'm telling you, that branch completely busted in half when I shot. I mean, like, I was like Robin Hood, man. Robin Hood, what kind of you're talking 50 feet away and you hit a little spot like, well, the scope helped, obviously. And the weight of the cat on the tree, on the branch, as soon as that bullet hit the branch, it just busted it, completely busted it. And that's when the cat fell. But the cat could have died if it would have hit the ground. So, I mean, we even put like not blankets, but like foam. We had this foam thing that we put out, and I put up another thing. I put up some other stuff that would kind of break its fall. It didn't even fall near there. It was falling onto the ground. So it missed our little area that we had like tried to save it. When people are going to jump from buildings, they get like blankets and they try to jump. That wouldn't work. So this cat was gonna be doomed and dead if I didn't have that net to catch it. The net literally saved it. So thank God I had the net there because she missed our little jump area completely. She would have hit the ground. She would have went. Well, you know what they say? It would have been a dead cat bounce. Have you guys ever heard of that phrase, a dead cat bounce? It was catastrophic. That's awesome, Joseph. It would have been catastrophic. Have you guys ever heard of this? The phrase "a dead cat bounce"? That they say that term in relationship to economics. It's an economic term. When usually when something crashes, it kind of goes back up at a certain point. They call that the dead cat bounce. Even a dead cat will bounce, right? Even the economy will take a little jump when it hits the bottom, but that doesn't mean it's alive. That's really good, Joseph. Somebody said to put food down there. Yeah, but she was so far up. There's no way she could have. The food wasn't going to work. We tried food. We had because sometimes we'll feed them dog food. They love this dog food that we get. So I was shaking the bag. She heard us shaking the bag. She looked down when we had the bag of food. That didn't even budge her. Nothing was going to get this cat down. I'm telling you, nothing was going to get this cat down. This cat was stuck for good. I tried everything, even the food. I shook the bag. We're like, come on, don't you want some food? And she's like, nope, I'm just going to die here. We couldn't get her to jump. We couldn't do anything. The only thing that was going to make it happen is if that branch was broke. But it was pretty catastrophic. So it all turned out. And what I thought was so amazing was my son having the dream when they didn't even know about the cat being stuck. He had a dream about Pearl. That was our cat's name. That's our cat's name. So he dreamt about her, and she's been sleeping for the last day. This cat is just zonked out, man. She's been up for probably 5 days straight, hasn't had any food for 5 days, probably very little water from just a little bit of rain. Maybe that little bit of soaking that I did might have helped get her a little bit of water. But she's safe and sound now, and she's sleeping and purring, and everything is hitting the fan in the world. Yeah, is it crazy? I'm telling you, things are getting really bad now. As we had told you guys, it was about to happen. I think we're about to see a war break out, a hot war. I think America's about to enter it. Now, the video that I posted about the Houthis are saying that they targeted our ships again and that supposedly they hit. I don't know, but it looks like I never saw that footage from anywhere else before. I don't know if that's fake footage. I don't know if that's game footage. I have no idea. It looks real. It does look like, some encounter where these warships were hit. I don't know if it's actual footage. Some are saying it's not. Some are saying it is. I don't know. In a time of war, and if something like that really did happen, they might not want that to be public. They might not want the public to believe that. And is it faked? Lily, are you saying it was faked? Do you think it was faked? Yes, Dee Dee, thank you. I should have had the Sarah McLachlan song playing in the background. Yeah, seriously. I told my wife, I said, if we had a camera that was rolling at that moment, taking video footage of what I did, that would have been a viral video. That would have gotten millions of views. That would have got millions of views. Because that was just like something you would see in a clown show or something. I mean, I was thinking of music in the background, like like Benny Hill music in the background. what he was saying there was so powerful. It was so, it fit in with what I was talking about before we cut to this sermon too. And I hadn't even heard that sermon, but it came up on my feed, and I was like, okay, let's listen to this one. And it seemed to be perfectly fit, because in the story that I gave you guys earlier about the cat, it represented, on that fourth day that we finally got the cat, it was almost a process that we went through spiritually, in the sense of sensing that there was a possible death, that we would have to look at this cat, dying. But at the last minute, the cat was saved, and what that cat represented, and how the Lord actually gave us a heads up that the cat would not die through a dream of my son. And my wife had prayed. She had asked, Lord, give the children a dream so that we know. And sure enough, that night, actually, I forgot to tell you this, but my other son had a dream too. His dream was about the cat. Listen to this. So both of my sons, my oldest son and my middle son, had a dream. The dream that my younger son, or my middle son, had, I told you, was about the cat being up on the top of a shelf and then moving over to the other shelf. And what happened was the cat actually, at a certain point, moved from one branch to another when it went higher up. So that could have represented that dream. But the dream that my other son had was, he dreamt of the mama cat having 6 kittens. She only has 5 kittens. But actually she does have 6 kittens, because that one that went up into the tree was also one of her kittens from a previous litter. So that was also indication that that cat also was going to be her kitten. It wasn't going to be dead. Like, we had already given up the cat to die. I literally thought the cat was going to die. We pretty much thought she had died, actually, in that tree. But what it represented, the pearl, right? The pearl of great price. It was really our hope. It was really a representation of our faith, that it was going to be rewarded, that God was going to answer our prayer and save that cat. And the way in which that cat was saved was obviously an amazing miracle. If you didn't hear the story and you're getting here late and you didn't listen to the first part of the broadcast, well, then you got to go back and listen to the story. But literally, the way in which that cat was saved was a miracle. Now, it had to be that tree, that branch, had to be cut off. That cat had to be put through a traumatic event in order to save that cat, because of where it was. It needed to go through a traumatic event in order to save the cat, in order to bring that cat down. And that was the breaking of the branch. Really, it was the only way. The cat was not going to come down on its own. And we had to make the choice and the decision to literally cause it to fall from its high, elevated place in that tree that was so far up, literally at least 50 feet up in the air. And it's almost like you and I, many times we're caught in a place by our own decisions and our own fears and our own lack of understanding and maybe our own ability. We may not have the ability to get down. A lot of times cats can't do that. If they go up, they can't come back down, because, and I've read some stuff on cats, when they climb a tree, they can't back down a tree. Well, they can, but if there's a lot of branches in a tree, once they go up, they can't turn around and go head first. A cat cannot go head first down a tree. It has to back down. And if there's a lot of branches around the tree, once it goes up, it can't come back down. It gets stuck. And so that's exactly what happens to us many times. We get stuck. We go into a place where we're not able to get back, and the Lord has to come and rescue us. And I believe that many times that rescue operation is traumatic, in the sense that you're not expecting the methods in which you're going to be brought down back into safety. Some people had told me that, well, There's been people that have actually cut down trees. Their cat was stuck in a tree and they cut the tree down in order to get the cat down. There's been people that have done that. You send somebody up there that can scale the tree and get in there and catch the cat and bring it back down. It's another way, you know. But the way we did it, because of the last minute situation that probably would have caused that cat to die because of the cold weather, was the way we did it. And it worked. So we were very happy about that. But I would think that it was connected in some way to the way the Lord has to get our attention many times in life through, trials and real situations that cause us to become distressed and perplexed and, knocked down, going through tribulation in a very tangible way, like he was talking about. It could be financial. It could be your physical body. I mean, obviously in this sermon, he was sick. He had to actually stop in the middle of the sermon. And he had to go take some time away while they sang a song and they did a hymn. And that hymn was amazing. I'm going to go back and listen to this again. This is really a great message, and I feel like it's important for all of us as believers to make sure that we're right where the Lord wants us to be, and to give him the time that it takes to get to that place so that we can help others. It says, if you would do well to pay attention to these doctrines, Paul talking to Timothy, for in doing so, you will save both yourself and those that hear you. You want to be a clear voice of God's reason, the wisdom that's from above. You don't want to be just trying to get people's minds and their emotions attached to your own thoughts, but you want the Lord's word to rivet and to pierce their hearts. You want the Lord's voice to be the guiding light of transformation that is a miracle of resurrection. It is a true miraculous intervention by God himself. If you can hear the voice of God in your circumstance, it doesn't matter how bad it is. You could be on the brink of death. God, when he speaks to you, he can call you back. He can heal you. He can remedy any heart, mind, soul issue, environmental. He can turn it around in a way that's going to get a message to many. He could use your situation to get that message out. So you have to trust him. And that was another part of looking at your situation through the eyes of what God is doing, not secondary causes. I like that illustration where he gives the stick of the dog. When you're hitting a dog, the dog's going to think the stick is hurting him. He's going to try to bite the stick. Well, the real person that's hurting him is the man that has the stick. So we have to realize that God is not trying to harm us. He's trying to guide us. He's trying to get our will and our, it was almost like coming to the end of yourself. You have to come to that end of your own resource, your own ability, your own wisdom, your own strength. That is that point at which God gets a hold of you. They say this about a person that's drowning. When there's a person drowning, you don't just jump in and try to save them, because there's what they call a death grip, that literally a person who feels they're dying, or that is dying in the sense of drowning, will grab you and hold on to you so tight that both of you will drown. And the only way to really save a person that's drowning, if you don't have an implement to throw to them, to get them to hold on to, is to let them get to the point where they go down for the last time. They are completely exhausted, completely at the end of their own ability. And that is when you jump in to save them. I mean, if you have something you can throw them that floats, that's the best way to do it so they can grab onto it. But if you don't, and you have to run in there and get them, you have to let them get to the place where they are completely and utterly at the end of themselves. And that's exactly what happened with this cat. It was almost like that cat had to get to the point, and the whole circumstance, that represented had to come to a place where it seemed like all hope was gone. And it was at that moment that God spoke and gave us a little bit of faith. And that trust and that faith is what really brought about, I believe, the miracle of bringing that cat down and actually doing what happened. Because I literally felt like I was a part of a miracle when that thing happened. The way in which it happened, I mean, I just still, to this day, to this moment, I'm still awed at the way that thing happened. I mean, that cat fell from like 50 feet. And I don't know how in the world that I got the net and was able to catch it after I had a gun in my hand, because I had to shoot the branch and break it. But it literally, to be able to gauge it at the right moment and to actually catch it. I mean, I just remember after I caught it, looking at my wife, we were like both just like, like, what just happened? What just happened? The Lord can do that for you in your situation. I mean, to getting it this is just a small analogy of how God intervenes, but asking God to intervene in a situation that you feel is hopeless or that's going to lead to death or ultimately the end of your own situation and circumstance. It could be environmental, it could be economic, it could be physical, it could be emotional, mental, and even spiritual, that God will intervene and save you. And he always does it at the last second. I don't know why it is that the Lord does that, but he always waits to the very last minute, it seems.